Bitcoin all-time high this week, fueled by institutional inflows and low leverage. And this suggests organic spot-driven demand. Will it continue? Are we going to go to support before we continue further? Before a continuation to the upside, or we have a temporary pullback, resetting the narrative and resetting the charts, giving us an entry. This is what we'll be looking at today. And we'll be using this with a view of looking into next week and what are the opportunities and trades that presents itself for us to make money in the immediate to near term. We are going to have a busy week next week with a lot of economic data, and also we cannot forget the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. So let's jump right into the content we have for you today. My name is OP. I'm a prop trader from Edge, here showing up every day to make you a better trader and a smarter investor, and literally just to make money. So we look at what is going on, and you can see we're going to have a busy week. Like I said, we have the Bitcoin Las Vegas conference next week, and starting from Tuesday, and it's going to be attended by a lot of big names in the crypto space, from Vice President JD Vance, Cynthia Loomis, Senator Cynthia Loomis, and the rest, and all the big names around in the crypto space. So that is something to look out for. We'll be looking for a lot of bullish headlines and news, and updates in projects, whatever they are doing in the Senate, in regulation, and the rest. All of that will be coming out next week. So we should be seeing a lot of volatility around this, because we notice every time there's always big events like this, there's always volatility around these events, because a lot of news updates, breaking news will be highlighted, and it will be released during this period. So that is something for us to watch. We'll also be looking at what is going on in the economic calendar for next week. We believe Monday is Memorial Day in the Americas, so US will be closed for trading. Nothing will be happening on Monday, which is tomorrow. I believe in Europe, we should be expecting and watching out for Lagarde. She, the president of the European Central Bank, she'll be speaking on Monday, so it will be interesting to listen to what she'll be saying and what a view of the of markets, of what will be happening in the market, and a view. It will be interesting to hear what she has to say. What we'll be looking at is the focus will be on inflation and growth, with the PCE, GDP, durable goods orders data offering. And that will be showing us signals on economic momentum. Also, another thing to be looking for is on Tuesday, the consumer confidence and housing market data that will be coming out on Thursday. All this will be interesting to give us light, shed us more light on demand, consumer demand. And also, what will be really in focus this week will be on Wednesday, to listen to the FOMC meeting, meeting minutes and speeches, of course, with Jerome Powell, to see all of that and everything that will be going on. Of course, the PCE, like I mentioned on Friday, will be interesting. Consumer sentiment will be interesting to see what the data is telling us. Unemployment claims will be interesting, and GDP data on Thursday also will be really, really, really important, and it will give us a view into what is going on in the market and what economists are predicting, and what all this will shape expectation around future interest rate decisions. So all of this will be really, really important for us, and it will be valid for us judging what is going on in the market. Then we just quickly look at what is happening on the Bitcoin spot ETF, because this is what has been driving the institutional demands and what has been driving the increase and the inflows and the capital inflows into Bitcoin, which is really pushing out the prices. So this is quite interesting. And looking at what is going on, 1.2 million worth of Bitcoin is held by the Bitcoin ETFs, which is about 6% of the supply. So we see that this is extremely bullish for Bitcoin. And we just listened to Brad Gardnerhouse, the CEO of Ripple, speaking on Bitcoin ETFs and how they will rival gold.
I'm definitely hurt, but also excited that I was overlooked for years before being on here, but now here I am. Hi, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. This is Crypto in 1 minute. 1 minute on why are people excited about crypto ETFs. I think there's two main factors going on here. One is, for the longest time, institutional investors primarily trading on Wall Street, really haven't been able to access crypto directly. Their options were to either self-custody, onboard with an exchange, and some people don't like centralized exchanges for a whole host of reasons. So this was really the first time you had institutions be able to go on Wall Street and trade directly in crypto. This is an unlock for a couple of reasons. For capital that couldn't come in, whether it's an endowment, whether it's a pension fund, even mutual funds that didn't or couldn't access crypto, now they can. The second thing is, it really is institutionalizing the entire industry of crypto. I think it should be no surprise that a Bitcoin ETF was the fastest ETF ever to get to $1 billion in assets. I think it passed 10 billion in assets faster than anyone as well. And today is, I think, we'll eventually close in on the gold ETF, and that's in 1 minute.
So this is quite interesting, and we are seeing a lot of calls for Bitcoin ETFs, just the onset of the protocol economy and the start of or a call for safe havens like gold and Bitcoin. So you see Bitcoin being positioned and being called upon and looked at as a safe haven asset, of course, which also means we are gradually graduating into being a risk-off asset. So that is quite interesting for Bitcoin. So the more and more we continue to prove ourselves, the price actions continue to be a little bit more steady and much more understandable. It will be easy. It will be a smooth transition to a risk-off asset and looked at as a safe haven like gold. So just jumping into the chart, we can see literally, like I said yesterday, we are just moving sideways from yesterday, and right now we are printing a red candle, which is showing us on the RSI that we have further movement to the downside. So we should be looking at this, and we should be looking for a support around the $106,000 levels. So that's, we should be looking for a support on that levels. And once we print that support, again, it will be interesting to see what the weekly close by the end of this week should be telling us, which I believe the weekly close should be around that same level. So once we see that, that will still give us confidence and make us know that we are still on a bullish structural trend, and we should be expecting further movement towards the upside. So what I should be anticipating is a volatility, like I said, during the Las Vegas summit in next week. So maybe we should be seeing further movement to the downside and confirmation of the support around the 105 levels before another movement upside, because I would just expect the market makers to want to wash out a lot of people that might be bullish following or during the Las Vegas conference, because I've been noticing it and I've been following a lot of, when there's a lot of major events, there's always volatility around that event. So it will be interesting for us to watch. So this is something for us to watch, and we don't want to get chopped out during this kind of events. And it will be better to take, if you're already in a trade and you're already taking a position, that will be good for you. Just wait and see and just watch what is going on. If you are not in any position, it will be good to just watch and let the price speak to us, and until we make any move. Looking further into the chart of Ethereum, you can see we remain lackluster movement, also sideways, choppy markets, and we are just moving sideways, like I explained yesterday. We have inched downwards a little bit, so we are at the $2,500 levels. We still seem to be above. We appear to be above the 200 EMA trend line, so that is very, very good. The moving average, so that is very, very good for us. So moving a little bit to the downside, which the RSI is telling us that is pointing downwards. So we should expect further movement to the downwards and maybe the $2,400 levels, and for a support on the 200 EMAs. So that is quite interesting for Ethereum. Looking at SUI 2 moving sideways, although it seems to be bottoming out, and we just will be creating a bottom around the $3.06 levels. So you should be looking for further movement towards the downside. If we want to enter the SUI chart, I think it will be interesting, and it will be very, very profitable for us to enter around the $3.05 levels, and that will be a very, very good bottom, because the chart looks like it's bottoming out. So this will be very, very good entry for us. Looking at the RSI, looks to be moving sideways and kind of bottoming. So this is quite bottoming for another pullback, at least to the upside, to maybe a take profit level of around $3.93. So that should be a very, very interesting trade for us to take on Solana. So I'll be on SUI rather. So I'll be really critical and looking at the SUI chart, and this is one that I think a trade is imminent in the near term. So I'll be really looking at this, and once I'll put my notifications on for $3.48 levels for us to be able to immediately get into a trade on that levels for a take profit around the $3.93 levels. So that's for SUI. Looking at the overall crypto market chart, you can see there's a lot of red in the chart, and you can see what is just standing out to us is Hype doing very well, Monero is doing well, Zcash, also another privacy based coin, then Aave, Helium Network, and SPX, another meme coin. So this is quite interesting, and what is going on in the chart. Everything looks to be correcting, and everything looks to be moving sideways movement. So everything is just dragging on. Of course, we are aware and we know that during the weekend there's a low volume, low movement during the weekend. So we just go back to Bitcoin and we end our content for today on Bitcoin chart, showing us just sideways movements for now, and we continue to watch for a pullback to the $105,000 levels before we move upwards. So these are the opportunities that have been presented to us. This is what the chart is doing. This is what is telling us that we might see a temporary pullback but we still look structurally bullish for now. Everything looks bullish. We were all-time high this week. We are just watching the charts and seeing what is presenting to us. We still remain bullish in the near to short term. We are still bullish, guys. There's a lot of institutional inflows, with a lot of Bitcoin ETF inflows, a lot of bullishness across the board, across the regulations, across public and private industries. So nothing is telling us we should be bearish for now. Nothing is indicating a bearish movement. Nothing is indicating that we are moving downwards. We remain steadfast. We remain convicted in our thesis. Our thesis is still in play. So why drop it for now? So we just continue to take a wait and see approach and let the price come to us. At the end of the day, we need to manage our risk levels. Like I always shout and I always say all the time, our risk levels is very important. As risk managers, this is what we should control. And we should, because we don't want to lose money. We want to make money for this market. Follow me on this journey from zero to Ferrari and make money with me. See you tomorrow.